That's right. We are back live. We're very excited to be back live. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We don't have the best internet down here. Things happen. But we do seem ready to go. We're going to flip this around. I had an allergic reaction yesterday, so we don't really need to see my face that often today. So we'll look at Keith's instead. He is stretching because I don't think you guys are ready for our 60s cocktail. Now, we could have chosen a simple one.
Anything.
We could have chosen any number of simple cocktails that we've already showed you how to do. Instead,
you feel a burn in a way you didn't expect.
we decided to show you a fizz, but not just a regular fizz.
Oh, no, not just a regular fizz. This is going to be, my favorite description of this drink I saw is, loved and loathed by bartenders everywhere.
Yes. And why is that, Keith?
Because, well, two things. For starters, the man that invented it, Carlos Ramos, down in Louisiana, had a crew of burly bartenders to actually shake this drink. And even though Tara asked for it frequently, it just is completely inappropriate to have down here during the disease.
Repeatedly asked for a crew of burly bartenders, just waiting in a line for me to tell them to do things.
It is going to take a lot of things that I've told you to do, and then it's going to throw some of them right out the window.
Yes.
Because we're going to be doing, for instance, cream and acid, which makes cottage cheese if you're not careful.
Which is why he was stretching.
Uh-huh. Now, I did make one of these ahead of time because we have a trick.
So what we're making is a Ramos Gin Fizz. Now, this was invented in the late 1800s. However, this is a really good example of 1960s common ingredients everybody always had in new, I don't want to say new ways, but in unique ways.
In unique ways.
And in presentation ways.
Well, and there's always the one very special ingredient. And it stands out in this list when we get to that special ingredient. But we're going to take a little trick I showed you earlier. We're going to set the shaker aside. We're going to go back to the blender bottle. Because...
And it is key that you have the ball. Yeah, that is key to our trick. Otherwise, you're going to use this.
And you're going to use it for
5 to 10 minutes, for real.
Yeah. You get so tired shaking one of those that this is just, you'll understand, all right? When we get there, you're just going to understand. And this is also, you'll notice I'm not wearing a mic, lest Petra has come in. And I'm going to be doing a lot of shaking, Petra, all over the place.
So we didn't mic up today because of the drink we're making.
It has nothing to do with us just being too lazy to do it.
It's right here.
So, as any good cocktail, we're going to start with 2 ounces of gin. Going right in. Then, we're going to be doing ½ ounce lime juice. ½ ounce fresh squeezed lemon juice. I actually did some of this earlier. Sarah brought in some great lemons, so I put them to work.
They're even your lemons. They're Meyer lemons.
Meyers.
Belonging to.
Of the Meyer. 3/4 ounce simple syrup. Now the recipe calls for 1 whole egg white. The equivalent with what we use is going to be 1 ounce egg white.
So again, that's a lot of egg white, even for a regular drink.
Well, and a whole egg white is actually a lot more liquid than you really think when you sit down with one. Now, this is the ingredient that stands out. A few dashes of orange blossom water.
We got this on Walmart.com. You can find them really
and that's it.
Anywhere.
You don't want to overdo it.
You can also make your own. It's a little bit more complicated.
I do a little swizzle to kind of incorporate that because the very last ingredient you cannot let linger at all.
And it needs to go in last. Do not put cream in first and then acid on top.
And
You'll get cottage cheese.
This was the lowest pH it was going to be. No, the other way around. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the most neutral it was going to be. Before we do.
So again, it's someone who's not a fan of cream-based drinks, this doesn't use that much. It's just enough to get the texture. I'm going to kind of step back because here we go with the...
Yeah, there was no ice in there, by the way, and
So
these seal really well.
This
So,
is called a dry shake, i.e. no ice. So again,
Quarantine's been training me for
yeah.
this.
If you would go, I don't think they do it anymore now that you're just going to have one bartender be pissed at you. But at the height of its popularity, they would have, 3 to 6 bartenders just in line, and each would shake for 30 seconds to a minute, and then they would pass it on. So we have done now a dry shake. We are not done.
Mixed with that bottle, everything's incorporated into a liquid. Now,
We are not done yet.
no, we're not done. I wandered around the building doing this earlier.
He did.
And let us begin.
Now we're going to actually shake
This
it.
is the real shaking. And this is why I love the blender bottle for this, by the way, is the hard part. A lot of times when you're bartending and you look for a shake, I don't know why I'm trying to talk through this.
I was like, we can also pass off. I can shake for a while, too.
I don't know. Why not? It's really feeling a mild burn right there. I don't know if anyone can hear me on the other side, but one of the things you look for in a metal shaker is the frosting on the outside of this. The downside with using a blender bottle, it's never going to do that.
No, I'll take a turn.
You want to take a turn?
I'll take a turn.
Oh. I didn't look at you going for tips. See what you're doing. No one's breaking out their wallet on this.
Oh.
Come on, it's like a shake weight. Why haven't they made shake weight cocktail shakers?
Patent pending.
Patent pending. And I mean, you'll get the workout you need. It'll be splendid. Now, typically, you go ahead and you serve a Ramos in a nice kind of tall highball glass, Collins glass, something like that. This is too, most of the time when we're done filming, I hate to break like the illusion, we dump the rest of the drinks down the drain before we go home.
No, on Fridays we don't.
On Fridays, sometimes they linger. This is too much work for us to really want to dump any of it down the drain. So we're going to be bypassing this and using 2 of our little glasses. You want me to take back over?
Yep.
Okay.
So if you look up, the recipe to this, some people will tell you at least 50 times shaking. Some people will tell you, 3 to 5 minutes. It is the thing this is the cocktail that you have to shake the longest and the most because...
I say we're good.
Excellent. So again, this blender bottle, however, drastically cuts down the time.
And it actually makes it easier to do.
But this is going to be really fun to watch.
So what all of that shaking does...
Other than,
again,
prep you for the drink, because you're going to need a thirst quench.
It's like they planned this.
I don't think you can even see how
rich that is.
Stunning that looks.
This is actually, it produces so much
This
froth.
much of it is froth, and it is just
You have to give it some room to die down. No.
delicious.
This is so creamy, but we have not put the actual fizz into the Ramos fizz
So yes,
yet.
what makes something a fizz, we've put the Ramos in.
Now,
We're going to put the
our
fizz
bar
in.
hits with such intensity, I'm actually going to move some of the club soda to this little pitcher first. Then, and it makes this nice kind of
There we go.
floaty character.
And that is half of a Ramos Gin Fizz.
And then just to finish it off, I may, while I was getting these lemons ready.
Oh, very nice. So what I love
We're
about
gonna
this
love it a little
cocktail, again, I don't like cream-based cocktails, but I do like the flavor and texture of cream. And this uses so little, you get the best qualities of it.
You saw it, it's a half ounce of cream.
So so fizzes were and have been very popular for a long time. They were very popular in the 60s. Again, it continued the simple ingredients that everybody had. You know, gin, milk, lime, lemon. The fizz made it interesting and bubbly. That's when we really kind of started, again, fizzes have been around forever, but they really kind of came popular again. But this is what, the Ramos Gin Fizz is the definitive fizz.
So
but
silky.
look at, I hope you can see that line there. From the quote-unquote head of the cocktail, the basically meringue.
Yeah,
We
you're
basically
pretty
put
much making
meringue on top
of
of
a drink.
this cocktail. So this is a Ramos Gin Fizz. They are, if you go to New Orleans, the bar where these were invented is still open. They serve something like 30,000 of them a year.
I feel like you could use a paint mixer to do.
Has
anyone tried
yeah,
that yet?
I feel like they've got a
you
much
just make
better
a 5
way.
gallon paint mixer going.
And again, I like it because it's light. It is actually,
It's light and velvety.
yeah, for what it looks like, you would think this would be much heavier,
It's not.
but it's not.
And that's why it ended up in that. Like I said, we served them in these like they'd be heavier, but we wanted to share it. It's really easy to drink.
Oh, it
whole
is.
Highball one of these.
Well, you know what's nice? Like, so it really is. It's like you did a really nice Ricky and gave it a little texture and like garnished it with some whipped cream. How is that wrong?
There's nothing about it. There's nothing about this drink that's wrong.
So again,
the lime's so thick it holds up the lemon.
I was like, it does. I literally, my lemon is floating in the top of this because that is how thick that is. But fizzes were the 60s again, kind of still in the same drinks that were in the 50s. Heavy, a lot of cream-based drink, a lot of again Scotch-based drinks, gin-based drinks. But they did start to kind of embrace a little weirdness.
There was guys, and that's where you started getting those namesakes. Once you started getting creative, this is long before. This is when the world was still all bartenders.
Yeah.
And a bartender's job was to get you drunk. Let's be honest.
Still is.
Cocktails hadn't become like an art form. Mixologists.
No. Yeah.
We're
Which
not a thing yet.
I'm also against that term in general.
We
but
all are down here, but I do know we probably have some mixologists watching. So,
we do.
No, we just love being proud bartenders.
Yes. Because honestly, as fun as this is, and how fun it is to invent, there's nothing wrong with pouring a good pint, or
probably pouring a pint.
Some of those base techniques that sometimes are looked down on, like, oh well, I only craft cocktails. Okay, well, so then you're just removing parts of the job that you're not good at.
That's a little brutal.
Well, again, I feel like part of it should be you should know how flavors work, you should know how the chemistry of the drink works, and you should also know how the equipment works.
Very true. And of our friends out bartender watching, seriously, play with a blender bottle.
Agreed.
Anytime you have anything that is cream-based or uses egg white.
Oddly enough, they're also cheaper than
than a cocktail shaker.
This is called a Boston shaker, and it is my personal favorite. I love the Boston shaker. The other type shakers, and of course, I only have this giant one.
Can you imagine? I thought about playing with that to make a Ramos. Do you know
I only have. This is just a regular tin
What
shaker.
brand is this again?
I don't know. This is
Shaken, not stirred. Oh, good. With dents in this.
I only have this abnormally large tin. Keith likes these style shakers.
I do like these.
And these are usually the at-home shakers because it has the strainer on top and is not a separate piece.
As stupid as it is, I like those. I like those plastic because it keeps the lid from freezing on.
Yeah.
And again, the other day I broke the pint. The Boston shakers do look classy and wonderful, but I need durability. I'm hard on.
I think I just got this. Again, it's almost sometimes also what you learn on. This is what I learned on. And I know, God, there's friends of ours, for as fancy as I think I can get sometimes. I mean, watching people do this and break. Sometimes people can just do some really, and they're not even trying to be fancy. They've just.
No.
It's became this is actually easier for me.
Something that's instinctive.
Yes.
Well, that was the problem with those styles. When I did the bar, I could pop the top off with my thumb whenever I made a drink, so I just shot the lid into the sink and poured the drink out.
Nice. Well, guys, I don't know how many of you are making this at home with us, and you might
You're
still be
probably still
shaking.
Yeah.
But you should have all of the only thing that you might not
gin.
have
Is the
orange blossom water. But what you could use orange bitters. Not a lot. You could use orange bitters. You could zest an orange.
A zested orange would probably be kind of close. Or even plain just another floral.
Yeah. But those, it doesn't take a lot of it. So I think a zest of an orange.
No, actually, even in this one, I'm thinking I might have added one or two too many drops.
Possibly. It's still
really
good though.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys we're live again and we're excited. Are there any questions? As we drink, again, I want to showcase that it still has.
Oh yeah, no, it lingers.
This just stunning. Yeah, the fizz just means it's topped with club soda.
Or did I?
Look at that.
We found a little bit more.
So we'll do some shout outs today. Again, I'm not going to be on camera all that much. I had a pretty severe allergic reaction yesterday.
So unfortunately, you're stuck with looking at me. Well, if you're doing this at home, not yet. I do it now.
So we don't really need to see what I look like in any general. I'm okay. Everything is fine.
She's perfectly healthy.
It just wasn't great.
I keep trying to give her
Yeah.
drinks. God,
I know the fact that this is still fizzed up.
Mm-hmm.
So any questions, people at home?
If not, we can go into our shout-outs.
Yeah, I think we can go into our shout-outs. We have a quiet audience today. They're not used to us being live anymore.
No, they're not used to interacting.
We don't even need this. We have our shout-outs.
Well, yeah, we're gonna do local. One was Angelino's Deli.
Yeah, woo!
Washington.
Thank you, Brad Miller, for the reminder.
Yeah, great little place. I know they haven't been open for very long. For those familiar with the Washington area, it used to be where Ed's Meat Market was. And speaking of meat markets, I think is it Williams Brothers?
Williams Brothers, yes.
Like some food, so I want to make sure that they stay running.
We love a Williams Brothers.
And then the other one I did want to say because I thought of it the other day is Franklin's. Franklin's.
Home of the free egg.
You get a free egg.
Home of the free egg.
There's a running joke down here regarding their free egg. Well, there's a lot of running jokes with them.
In Franklin's, yeah. Are they doing takeout? I didn't know Franklin's was doing takeout.
I think they're doing
Good for them.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Keith yet again had DTM gyros.
I did. I got their pork kebabs, which were amazing, and I always have to get their falafels. All I can think of is I want to call them Mediterranean hush puppies, and I don't know if that's wrong or right, but they're delicious.
As oftentimes, it's not right, but it's not wrong.
It's not incorrect.
Yes, it's not incorrect.
Oh, they're so good, though. No, so that was nice. Sitting out on my porch, having my little pork kebabs, talking to the dog.
I don't like when you say the phrase pork kebabs.
Pork kebabs?
No, thank
Tomorrow
you.
We'll find other phrases that make you
Yes.
uncomfortable.
So I'm going to be real honest. Tomorrow we start getting into we'll get into the It's the 70s and 80s.
Oh, no.
And we're going to be real honest. So the 70s.
I have a tiny disco ball.
The 70s is the first time vodka starts becoming the spirit of choice for the United States. Not because they thought it tasted better, but because from the 70s and 80s, well, the 70s started as nothing could compete with the drugs, so they didn't care what it tasted like.
Well, you wouldn't taste it at all.
And you wouldn't taste it at all. And in the 80s, it was all about excess and getting as drunk as you could.
Along with black bathroom.
Yes, and so the blander the spirit,
the more you could put away or mix it with everything.
Do you have any customers who drink Scotch and milk? One, we don't make Scotch. We're not
You're
in
a
Scotland.
Scotch drinker and you hate.
I am a very big Scotch drinker. I have had Scotch and milk. It is actually quite common. I, however, am just a Scotch and club.
I do know that combining butter and Scotch does not make butterscotch.
No, that's true. That does not. But no, Scotch and milk. And again, from the 50s, a lot of cocktails had milk. And again, it's what you had on hand.
Egg white. They made you go a little bit slower.
They do, yeah, you do sip these.
The nice thing about the egg white, the milk, the creamier cocktails, they're harder
Yeah.
to do excessively because
Which
there's
is
more of a foundation.
why
there.
the 70s and 80s, they fell out of fashion, because it was about go big and then go home
And then
with
go big
whatever.
and go somewhere else.
Yeah. So
At the
we'll,
end-
and they're also, oh God, we'll get into it tomorrow, but tomorrow we'll get into the 70s and 80s. It's only actually in the late 2000s that these types started coming back around. The 70s and 80s and even early 90s were not good for the bar culture.
No. Well, in early 90s, we're going to start getting into like wine coolers and
Yes.
when those became a thing and what they were stealing from and why they existed.
Yes.
And again, we're talking about the time period that Zima was spawned from.
Ooh. Oh, Seema.
Your finest of malted beverages.
Just a sidebar, it's a tax thing.
It is a tax thing, but we'll get
Yeah,
to that
we'll get
later.
into that.
But no, there was gems that showed up through history like this and some of these other classics that are going to come back around. And we've kind of, Dad at least gave us props for not like impaling on the head. Oh look, you was pick me better. No, we're doing this to make cocktails. We are kind of trying to pick cocktails that use our products.
Well, that's because what we have.
It's also what we have on hand. But again, there's a huge array of really interesting ones.
Yeah, and somebody made a comment here about low-calorie cocktails. Anything from the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s will actually be the lowest calorie you can get. Spirits themselves are not actually high caloric.
Unless it's a cordial or a liqueur.
Right, but like gin, whiskey, they're going to average between 50 and 90 calories for what is considered a shot. And then most of those in the 50s were adding things like club soda, lemon juice, lime juice, even a quarter teaspoon of milk.
Yeah, sugar.
Low sugar items. Again, you're going to find the 70s and 80s were not low calorie cocktails.
No.
By any means, because they were adding.
Well, and I think you could probably do something there as the soda industry increased. You
Yeah.
started seeing more of your Jack and Cokes. You started seeing soda rise more as a mixture, and then you also started seeing access to more juices that weren't there. And I think like tiki culture did help with that.
Not a single thing on my cocktail-o-matic
Uses a soda.
they use ginger, but there is no cola.
Well, there was older styles of soda that were not
Yes.
like ginger beer, ginger ale, and again, just seltzer water has been around for a while.
I mean, seltzer water, again, like our bar gun, that has always been a go-to because it's on a gun.
Yeah, it was on a gun, but even before
Well, even on the seltzer, on the jerks, on the that's
exactly the soda jerks.
That's.
I mean, which is where stuff evolved from too. How do you take a soda jerk, then
Right.
put it into a cocktail
And put it into a cocktail? You make a Ramos gin
You
fizz.
make a Ramos.
Anyway, I think that's about it for today. Again, you're not going to see much more of me on camera today. Hopefully tomorrow, it's even better.
I'm so sorry. You haven't looked at me this whole time.
Hopefully tomorrow I'll get some screen time,
Guys,
but
sit
nobody.
and pray.
Keith
you
had to
don't deserve this.
Keith had to
care
sit
about
across
you.
from me all day, and
I don't deserve that.
no, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Just kidding.
But here we are. Anyway, sidebar, fun. I did my license plates by mail. I had to renew my license plates. It merely took 3 months, but they're in, and I'm very excited about it.
Well, for all you folks out there, if you're still shaking, good on you.
Yep.
But stay healthy
Stay safe.
and
Keep your spirits up. Yay.
I'll just zoom on this side.
Zoom. Yeah, there we go.